I don't know exactly whether or not this title counts as clickbait, because I did tweet about this character a few days ago and didn't get many people being like, wow, I don't remember this person at all. But considering it's a character who is deceptively important to the plot and does not go named at all in dialogue in the game he's in, I'd say I could get away with this. So, spoilers for Xenoblade 2 and mini Xenoblade 2. Let's go. This guy is called Stanif. You would be forgiven for not actually knowing that, because, like I said, his name is never spoken in dialogue at all, and he only appears in a few scenes in Torna the Golden Country that none of the protagonists are present for. He's only named in the credits. He apparently has some form of official artwork based off of this Torna relationship chart, but I've never been able to find it bigger or in a better resolution than that, so I don't know if it actually exists. But believe it or not, he is crucially important to, I guess you could say, the backstory of Xenoblade 2, because it's nothing directly out in the open there in either Torna or the main game. Stanif, also known as the Indaline Coraline, is some form of scientist or researcher who specializes in old stuff from older civilizations and that was salvaged out of the Cloud Sea. He also has some form of connection to Praetor Radalis, the guy who's in charge during Torna the Golden Country, but the bigger thing is he's very buddy-buddy with Amalthus, prior to him ever becoming Praetor. And in fact, it's basically him that facilitates almost everything Amalthus does after awakening Malos. He seems sort of privy to the ongoing interpersonal politics within the upper echelons of the Praetorium, knowing a bit about Magister Baltric's grudge against Amalthus and warning him about that, but the big thing is definitely the enabling he gives Amalthus. Namely in that all of the tech Amalthus uses probably comes from this guy, and it's also where he got a lot of his knowledge about the world outside of Alrest itself. First off, there is a bunch of stuff from Judicium there, which was the predecessor nation to Indal apparently, and developed flesh eaters, which explains why Amalthus has flesh eaters on his payroll in the first place. And there's also a bunch of stuff in this room that you can legitimately only find in the land of Moratha in the main game, which is kind of ridiculous. And yes, Amalthus was a salvager, so he might have known that stuff that looks like this existed, but some of this is like actually in good quality. Add to that the fact that Stanif has devices that are able to show the DNA of blades and humans, confirming that they're connected in some way, and to have figured out the Titan life cycle, which might not have been a secret in this time. It's kind of unsure. Amalthus is definitely hiding it in the main game, but it seems like only Torna really knew about it or something like that. I'm not really sure about that, but it looks like he was able to know that independently of Torna having the life cycle as a belief they respected, and of course having the Titan nursery on board. Yeah, there's also kind of the fact that he invented blade eaters, which is a very big deal. You see it happen. You see Gort as the first example. You see mass-produced monstrous blade eaters in the final cutscene, and then, wowee, Indal is now known for blade eater technology 500 years later, so clearly he did something there. And then we also see him in the ending credits of Torna, walking alongside Prince Zeder of Torna, who we now know became the first king of Tantal. This also implies that it was through him, or he was in some way able to get the whole courtship trade going along that kept Tantal suppressed and under the sea, as well as supplying Indal with even more supplies. Meaning, yes, in addition to facilitating Amalthus's rise to power and using the technology that he used to stay in power and do his thing, he also helped set up some of the political deals that would allow him to stay in power for so long. So yes, we do not see Stanif at all in the main game, and although Indaline apparently lived for a long time, it's likely that he did pass away of old age or something in the interim. 500 years is still a while, and it's heavily implied that Amalthus's specific long life came from being Malos' driver. He didn't need to have too big of a physical presence on screen for the repercussions of his actions to ripple out and affect kind of everything, because if he didn't exist, a lot of the main game wouldn't have existed. And yep, that's all I got. Goodbye.